Part 2. If you found this video and have not watched part 1, stop! Go back, watch part 1, and come back here, because we're going to continue on as if you watched part 1 and you missed out on all the excitement and the explosions and other fun things that happened over there. Welcome to Joe Geek. You should now be all set to continue setting up your OctoPrint server. Here are the list of parts you will need before continuing. Hardware required: a Raspberry Pi 3, microUSB power adapter, microSD, USB cable to connect to your printer. Optional: a wireless dongle, a webcam, a printed Pi 3 case. The software that's required: OctoPrint, Win32 Imager, Putty, and Notepad++. That one is optional. All the links for all of this stuff will be in the description below. Let's begin with setting up the connections to the Raspberry Pi. Do not power it up yet. Let's do all these steps first, and then we'll come back to that in a minute. Install the OctoPrint on a microSD card. This is how we're going to get OctoPrint on the SD card. It's pretty straightforward. Number 1, open Win32 Imager. Number 2, locate where you downloaded the ISO file from OctoPrint. Number 3, place that location in Win32 Imager and hit install. This will take a few minutes as it wipes the card, makes it bootable, and installs the OctoPrint into the OS. Next, we need to configure OctoPrint before we start. With the card all finished in Win32 Imager, locate it in File Explorer. Open the disk and look for a file called octopri-network.txt. Use Notepad or another true text editor. If using the wireless adapter, then look for a network type you have. WPA, WPA2 is what most routers these days have by default. Uncomment out the lines by removing the £, also known as a hashtag. That's it. Save the file. You don't need to edit it if you're using Ethernet. It finds that automatically unless you have a specific type of weird network setup. Next, we're going to fire up the Raspberry Pi for the first time. Once you've installed OctoPrint on the card, then proceed with these steps. Step 1. Insert the microSD card in the bottom side of the Pi. Older models use a standard SD card. Step 2. Insert either Ethernet connected to your network, or if you purchased a USB wireless dongle, insert that now. You can use either at this point. Step 3. Insert USB into both your printer and one of the USB ports on the Pi. Step 4. Insert the webcam into one of the ports. This one is optional. Step 5. Power up the Raspberry Pi. Once the green status light goes solid, you're all set. If it won't connect, or the lights are giving off an error, unplug it and redo the steps for writing the ISO file to the card. Next, we will now connect to your Pi. On Windows search bar located at the bottom of your screen, type in CMD. When the program called Command Prompt appears in a list of programs, right-click on it and select Run as Admin. At the prompt, type in ping octopi.local. If it returns with a TTL time, then you're all set. If it times out, then you either need to reconfigure the network again or reboot the Pi. Copy down the IP address for later. Before you go back and try to reconfigure it, you can also see if it's in your network by looking at the Windows Explorer and Networks tab. Look for something called OctoPrint Instance on OctoPi. If you find it there, right-click on it, go to Properties, and copy the IP address. You're going to need that next. Now we're going to connect to the Pi with Putty. Open Putty and put in the host name as either octopi.local or the IP address you just got. Leave the port at 22, hit open at the bottom. Putty's going to freak out at this point, saying there's a security exception. Hit yes to accept the fingerprint. You will now see a console window pop up with a green cursor. Ah, the good old days of green cursors. Login for this step is the default Pi for login and Raspberry for the password, all lowercase. Now, it should let you connect to pi@octopi $. That is a Linux prompt. Type in passwd password to open up the password changing utility. Put in the current password, which is Raspberry, all lowercase. Nothing is going to indicate that you're typing. It's just working. Then go ahead and hit enter. Now it'll tell you to put in a new password 2 times. Once you've done that and you hit enter, it will come up saying updating successfully. You're good. Next step, at the command prompt, put in sudo raspi config and hit enter. This will open up an old DOS-style box that you can do a few commands by highlighting and hitting enter. The most important one here is to expand file system. This will utilize the whole SD card to be the file system. So if you bought a 32 gigabyte card, you can now have all 32 gigabytes for storing your print files. You can also enable the camera here as well. Select finish and it will ask to reboot. Say yes and let it reboot. You will get a connection timeout warning now because Putty has disconnected from the server. Give it a moment to reboot and let's move on. Finally, now let's get to the good stuff. Open up the web interface for OctoPrint. Open any web browser other than Windows Edge, because that's not a real browser. Chrome or Firefox will do. Go to the IP address that you have from earlier or octopi.local. I had trouble with this one, so I just used the IP address from before. You should see Octopi web page as shown here. First time you get there, it will want you to make an account. This is not the same login and password that you use to set up Pi. Although it can be, it doesn't matter as long as it's a secure password. Follow the instructions and select Keep Access Control Enabled, unless you are on a 100% private network. If your network is connected at all to the internets, then you must use access control. Otherwise, you're looking for people to print out all kinds of nasty stuff on your printer and do some really crazy things. Reload the page and log in. Now you can set up your printer specifications, check out the webcam, drop files directly onto the page, and the built-in Cura add-on will slice it for you. You're all done. Enjoy your new web-enabled print server. Well done. I'm going to be covering more OctoPrint stuff in the future with add-ons, plugins, and stuff and things. Please come by for more on this. If you liked what you saw and want to help, please be sure to subscribe and hit the like button. I will do my best to answer any questions you have. Also, follow me on social media here with my links to Twitter and the Facebooks. Take care. Remember, it's nice to be important, but more important to be nice. See ya!